Welcome back to Corner Stories. Please enjoy this video and don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. And now let's get on to story 1. I cheated with my brother's girlfriend and married her 10 years ago. How can we reconcile? This is long. When I was in my mid-20s, my younger brother, Ezra, 19, went away to an out-of-state school. I just finished my own stay at my university, so I went back home to find an apartment close to family. Ezra's girlfriend Melanie, 19, also stayed behind to study at a local college. Her and I would hang out once in a while. I didn't realize at first I was playing with fire by doing this. Melanie and I got closer. We would go to the movies, grab a bite, and we would hang out at family dinners. EZ couldn't be there, but my dad would extend invites to Melanie, who EZ dated all throughout high school. They planned to be married after school, so she was family. My dad also remarried, so we were trying to build new bonds with his new wife and her kids, one of which was close in age to Melanie. I guess things began to get messy with my dad's new wife began to comment that I looked better with Melanie. I had a stable job and was ready to start my life and settle down. Melanie was offended at first, but as we grew closer she began to also make similar comments. EZ would come down for summer or some weekends where they would still sleep together and function like a couple. When he would leave, she would be with me. Things got physical one night after I reacted jealously at her and EZ snuggling up. It was the turning point that I'd been waiting on. I know now I was wrong and I'm not proud of any of this. My dad and his wife were at odds over our relationship. My dad was actually furious with me and demanded we stop. Melanie was disinvited from family dinners and my dad reached out to my mom to inform her about us. My dad's wife had an opposite opinion. I have another sibling, 6 in total, all brothers, Aaron, who suspected something was off. Things came to a head when Aaron took EZ aside during a visit to let him know what he learned from who knows where. Aaron has always had it out for me, or so I believe, a story for another day. But what happened after set my whole life in motion in the direction it's been for the last decade. It's been just over 10 years since Ezra discovered what we had done and set the whole family on fire. He had a go at our parents and my dad's wife for her involvement and their silence, and then he just left. It took a while, maybe a few months, 8, but he left and I have yet to ever see him again. Those 8 months I was not a kind person. After Melanie was embarrassed and mistreated by EZ for cheating, I immediately took her in and we became official. Our family disapproved for a while, but eventually they came around. She fell pregnant and I proposed. Her parents and my parents learned of this and agreed that it was best for the baby that we married, so they paid for everything. It was a humble wedding, but my family pulled through for me and showed up. During this time Aaron continued to lecture my parents about their involvement with our relationship and abandonment of Ezra. I understand that he was in pain and needed them. I did too. I was becoming a new father and husband. I was looking into buying my first home, starting my first big job, and planning a wedding. I didn't expect Ezra to suck it up, but they are my parents too. My parents were preoccupied with us, so much so that Ezra moved a few towns over and we didn't notice until a month or so. We used to see him around town where he worked, but noticed we stopped seeing him. I reached out only to find his number was changed. Aaron was no help, just criticisms and warnings about Ezra's well-being. No kind words for me, Melanie, or our child though. I lost 2 brothers in actuality. Eventually our wedding grew closer and the invitations were sent out. No response from EZ and Aaron, which I expected, so I asked my mom to verify with them. I understood if the answer was no. What we found was they were completely gone. Aaron had a long-time girlfriend who RSVP'd no to our wedding and clammed up about where my brothers went off to. One aunt, the one who would often echo Aaron's comments and skipped out on my wedding, let us know that they were safe and that we needed to move on. So that was that. Sad to say I haven't seen them in 10 years. My parents were obviously distraught and regretful. It put a huge damper on our wedding and the birth of my child. We thought about combining their names as a middle name for my son, but ultimately decided no. They would likely never meet my kid, so no need to confuse him. However, watching my parents break down whenever family would get together took its toll. Anyone who knew where they were did not say. It remains a gray cloud over our lives to this day. I thought we had moved on by the time Mel and I had another kid. My parents seemed happy to be with me and my remaining brothers, and they saw that Mel and I were serious about our relationship, an ideal match. Soon enough though, my mom decided to voice her regrets to me and Melanie personally. When she first found out about our relationship, she was staunchly against us but came around when Mel fell pregnant. Now she remains that she made a mistake where she lost 2 sons. Her relationship with Mel has suffered greatly. My dad's family is much more welcoming to Mel, she's one of their own. My dad does miss his sons but also loves his grandkids. He was content with this for a long time until my mom went ahead and located Aaron and Ezra. It hurt to feel that she would prefer to have held on to them and lose me and my sons in the process. She found that they were both married, Aaron to his longtime girlfriend who eventually moved away years ago, and Ezra to an unknown woman. Both have a good amount of children, more than I have in fact. My mother got some therapy and reached out to my brothers and has made contact with EZ. Aaron declined to reconcile. So she's been in contact with him for a year, even going as far as taking my youngest brothers with her to spend Christmas with EZ and his family. I've seen pictures of his sons and daughters and his wife too. I thought to keep a lot of this from my dad, but I come from a gossipy family, so I did show him what I found on my mom's Facebook before they could. My dad was overcome again, as if the hurt was freshly exposed again. He felt he missed a lot and couldn't bear it. He looked at the images for a long time and eventually called my mom and they spoke for hours. So I sit here with fractured relationships everywhere. My mom does not approve of me and my family. Mel and my mom do not speak. My dad is heartbroken. Ezra and Aaron took off and built a life with their own families. From pictures it seems they are still close, and though Aaron does not speak to our mother, his wife and kids do. The rest of my siblings are young men, just coming into their own. I love them so much, but I can't relate to them like I relate to my brothers who are closer in age. It's been years since I've had to deal with what my actions have caused. My wife is beginning to get insecure about my feelings towards her. She wonders if I regret her and the kids. I want to fix this. I failed to fix it before, but I need to now. I don't know how to repair it though. How can I make amends for a marriage and life I don't regret? That is all we have of this story so far. Please leave a comment below and share your thoughts. Also hit that subscribe button and join the community. Now on to story 2. I-32F has been married to a 40M for 2 years. He brought 2 kids into the marriage, and I have one of my own. We don't have any children together. My husband was previously married and has been divorced for about a decade. His kids live with their mother nearby, like 20 minutes away. Initially, she showed some petty behavior, but nothing major. She's very entitled and judgmental. She often makes snide remarks about me working too much, etc. She would make contrasting statements about me and my husband's marriage compared to hers. To the point where one day I told her that her relationship with my husband was over and she needed to move on. My husband backed me up and she stopped her ways. I honestly don't think she is over him. But that has nothing to do with me. She's unemployed since getting fired 15 years ago and relies on her kids to get more time and money from my husband. She's been unwell lately, not managing her health effectively, and have been using her condition to collect sympathy points from my husband. Asking him to be there at Dr. S appointments, of course, to watch the kids while she's there. Asking him for rides constantly because she doesn't feel safe driving. She always wants to tag along when we take the kids out. She has a boyfriend, by the way. Lately she has been suggesting to my husband that she isn't well enough to take care of her children. Right now they have shared custody and they are with us every other weekend, and during school vacations. She told my husband that I should sell my house, which I bought before we met, to downgrade and buy a smaller home and build her a tiny house on the land close to us, to provide more support for the kids and her. I was flabbergasted that he would even mention this to me. I couldn't understand why I needed to sell my house to accommodate her. I offered to have the kids live with us, but she declined, stating that she prefers to stay close to the kids and doesn't trust us to raise them. She has a boyfriend and family nearby but insists on receiving care only from us. Even saying that my husband made vows to her before he made vows to me. I feel totally disrespected, don't want to sell my house and don't want to have a grown woman freeloading off of me. I believe she should rely on her existing support system. Some of my in-laws says I'm just being selfish and don't need such a big house anyway. My husband hasn't expressed anything either way. Which is annoying. I want to stand my ground, but I'm starting to feel like an AH because she is sick. Update, thanks everyone. I think I need to stand my ground here. I'll speak with him tonight and we'll update. I'm really tired of his ex and don't think she should be the main character in our lives anymore. I want to put this here because a lot of PPL have been asking why my husband won't speak up. This was my response to post. He says he doesn't want to be a deadbeat father because his father was, and she often threatens to not allow him to see them. Even at our wedding she would not allow the kids to be there unless she was also invited. Update: I spoke to my husband and told him that there was absolutely no way I was going to sell my house. I told him that my house was an investment, that I planned to one day pass it to my child as an asset. That he and his parents and his ex are dead wrong for suggesting I sell it. I said that if his parents have something to say then they can build a tiny home for her on their 10 acres of land. He agreed and said he's been feeling bad that he was entertaining the idea, but his ex was guilting him because of her condition. She has MS. I told him that he will no longer be supplementing her lifestyle and no more running errands. I am his wife and I should be priority. I told him that he has to call her in front of me and tell her this. He called her and told her that he will no longer be used as a placeholder for her boyfriend and she need to stop trying to manipulate everyone. She said it was unfortunate that I was acting insecure and that I was interfering with their healthy, co-parenting relationship. She said that I was young and immature and should consider their kids, and she knew that this would happen one day. I told her that she needs to get off her lazy ass and take care of herself and her kids and stop freeloading off everyone. I told her that she need to be focusing her attention on her current relationship because that is her best shot at a decent future, because we are pulling back effectively immediately. She immediately started crying and said she was feeling sick and needs to go to the emergency room and needed to end the conversation to protect herself and her health. We couldn't really get into outlining all the boundaries before she just hung up and blocked both of us. I typed out an email and copied all parties involved and sent it to her. I'm so mad right now, I'm seeing red. Wow, that was rough. I'll be sure to add any further updates to this story. Until then, please enjoy the next one. Story 3. I am 38, met Jennifer, F, 36, online last month. We chatted for a while and connected great. She mentioned she has kids. I asked how many, she said 4. I assumed all have the same dads since she was talking about her divorce. We met in person. Within 30 minutes of our date, she suggested going back to her place and started rubbing my leg. I admit I was an idiot, I should have said no. The next day, we were talking, and she mentioned she works for her ex-husband. I said it's great they are civil. She said he is her best friend. Okay, no problem. In fact, he was there for me when I broke up with my youngest kid's dad. I was like, there are more than one dad? She said yeah, but they are all friendly. Every single holiday or even gatherings, we hang out together. In fact, last Christmas, my ex-husband invited the dad of my youngest. I told her, so if we get serious, I will be the stepdad of 4 kids. Then I'm obligated to hang out with 2 dads too? What if I want a nice Christmas time with you? Or just you and the kids? She said I'm being unreasonable and this way, kids are all loved. I told her this is too much for me. Plus, what if I have to move for my job? I need the approval of 2 dads. I ended it. Since then, she blasted me on her social media, saying how shallow I was and rejected her because she was a single mom. She has sent me so many hate texts, saying I threw away everything because I am so backward. Story 4. So I, 26F, and my husband, 32M, welcomed our baby boy about a year ago. It was my first pregnancy and honestly was pretty rough. The labor pain was incredibly severe. Still, I wanted natural delivery, so I went through all of it. Due to the severe pain I couldn't control and was screaming and crying. My husband, who hasn't slept the whole night, got agitated by the screaming and said to me to just try to suck it up a bit instead of screaming like this. I honestly cried because of his comment and the pain. The baby was born some hours later and we sort of forgot the incident. Few days ago my husband felt sudden pain in his stomach and it only got more severe, to the point we had to take him to the hospital at that moment. The doctor did a few checkups and told him he had kidney stone and needs treatment. Since the pain was so severe, my husband got painkiller shots. Even during that he was screaming at the top of his lungs. At that moment I got petty, and since I was already fussy from sleeplessness due to taking care of a toddler, I said to my husband, "Can't you just suck it up for a while? Why are you shouting so much?" He was shocked and then later remained quiet. When we went home he was still quiet, and when asked he told how insensitive I was and he felt so bad. To this I reminded him of the time when he said the same thing. Edit: to all the people asking if we love each other. Yes, we do. It wasn't like I held on to what he said to me, however in that moment everything was so similar to that time that I remembered that incident, and in the spur of the moment I said it to him. I did not ask him to go out of the deli every room or make a big deal about it that time because even though I was hurt I understood his sentiments as well. Stress from work, sleeplessness, overwhelming feeling of being a parent for the first time and a constantly screaming wife can really mess with a person. I didn't want to keep him away from being the witness of his child's birth or ruin his later moments with the baby just because of that. Was it a childish thing to say? Yes, but that does not mean we didn't fulfill our responsibilities. He took care of me and did everything a dad should, and I did everything for him likewise. No, we are not going to divorce each other for such silly banters. It's not like we always fight or act petty. If I wanted to be real petty then I could have done a lot of other things as well, but that wasn't my intention. Yes, we have childish conversations sometimes but they are usually funny banters. It is one of the very few times where I wanted to come and get some insight. Little update for you all since many jumped into craziest conclusions. I went to my husband and apologized. He said I don't have to and he was not angry, just embarrassed. We talked about it and actually found it quite funny. Sure, he was acting like he is angry, but that just means he rolled his eyes at me and had an expression was like, "You serious?" So yeah, he does not hate me, neither do I hate him. I will be preparing a nice dinner for all since past days have been exhausting and my husband needs a good treat as well. So yeah, nothing too crazy as some of you expected. Have a good day, people. Edit 2, it wasn't really about which pain is worse. Everyone has their own experiences. To everyone who shared their experiences, I hope you all are in better health now. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to connect with each other in the comments below. Until next time, be kind, be curious, and I'll catch you in the next video. Corner Stories signing off.